All right, so.
Oh, we're getting serious? Oh, you did the double cough. We're getting serious.
2 times ago on any given Thursday.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was,
You're right.
It was 2 times ago.
Yeah, you're right.
For sure.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I said you're right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm okay.
Actually, you're wrong.
Yeah, and you're Kevin.
Got him. Fucking got him.
But yeah, okay. So
2 times ago. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so we talked a little bit about the potential theory of the gaining traction of the popular theme of games, mostly surrounding D&D.
Role-playing games.
Tabletop games.
Role-playing games.
Dunces and Dragons.
TTRPGs.
Yeah.
Pathfinder.
Yeah.
All of them. Honey Heist.
Now, we, off-screen, because we're on screens, mentioned something that...
Mid-screen? Half-screen?
No,
okay.
Yeah.
IRL.
Gross. We mentioned something that I would be remiss for not mentioning here. And I think that it's important to mention for the context that I'm going to present you to.
Good, because I've forgotten.
It's okay. So, we talked a lot about D&D, but I think what we failed to mention is most likely the huge influence that the original Lord of the Rings books and Hobbit book had.
You're right, we did forget to talk. Yeah, I remember now.
We talked about the movies and how that was probably helping to move things forward right now.
Yep.
But we didn't talk about the fact that the original Hobbit and Lord of the Rings books had a huge influence on the original D&D.
It is the basis for basically all fantasy media.
Yeah.
Like modern day fantasy media is or stems from Tolkien, basically.
And if you'll let me indulge me for a moment here.
Well, I'll indulge you.
Well, I'll indulge you.
Oh.
What I think is important is that there's something else that's bigger about RPGs. Fantasy specifically, the Lord of the Rings, but also sci-fi as things progress a little bit.
Oh yeah,
is often used to help work through difficult social constructs and understandings. So
I don't think difficult is a good way to phrase that.
Well, traumatic, hard to talk about, controversial perhaps.
I think that's a better way to put it.
Controversial?
Okay. I think
that's fair. I didn't mean,
I don't think there should be necessarily difficult to me is naturally negative.
Okay.
When I don't think the talking about, while we're getting into it, right?
Sure.
Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
Huge for this.
Huge for this. It had a major influence, specifically on race.
Yeah.
Talks.
Race. Also, LGBTQ+.
Yep. In the 60s.
Yeah. Aliens, what, sex are you? What gender are you? What are you talking about? We just reproduce, it's and who cares? And yeah, Star Trek was super way ahead of its time in that sense, which actually, if you think about it, in a weird way, was the Summer of Love just a byproduct of Star Trek?
I don't know. That might be a little tough. I think it was a lot of, LSD and other byproducts, but
both. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what? There probably was a little bit more cultural climate for it.
Yeah.
I don't.
Open-mindedness
was
growing at a fast pace,
but
until it didn't.
As we've talked about many times, I don't know about here, but in general, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings specifically was Tolkien working through his trauma and experience in the war.
Yeah. World War I vet, and just those are the crazy shit he saw that he wrote down and is like, oh, okay, all right, the marshes, which we talked about. We talked about this, offline so many times.
So many times.
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah, today.
And what I think, not to take away our previous discussion of the uptick in media trends that I think allowed for D&D and other role-playing games to gain what it is right now.
Yeah.
But I think there's another theory I have. There's something else that happened in the early 2000s that I think could have minorly influenced this a little bit.
Okay, all right. I am so curious to see how you want to connect this.
Okay.
I'm really curious.
So I mean, okay, we go back and we start with the past, and there was the Great War and World War II, and the onset of fantasy. Then it's kind of like a lot of where it grew into more popular media. Not that there wasn't fantasy and folklore and dragons,
I mean,
and all
King
that,
Arthur and Merlin and all that kind of shit. Right.
But then we get Lord of the Rings fantasy talking about the war and things. We get original D&D, original onset of sci-fi in the modern sense, kind of in the Cold War era and in Vietnam and times. And I think that the modern times we have had an uptick, especially in the 90s through the early 2000s, with a certain peak event with 9/11 and the War on Terror, that I think what I'm going to try and connect here is that fantasy, and the reason why it could be being popular right now is somewhat escapism. And the fact that people are using it to get away from reality a bit and try and use it as an outlet to process some of the absolutely wild events, and even just not putting internet on the same level, but it's kind of like we are trying to displace this and cope through RPGs, basically.
Okay, I have a lot.
I had a feeling.
Yes. Playing role-playing games in any form, video games, tabletop, whatever, is escapism.
Sure.
Because you're actively trying to live out I don't know about always a better life, but a different life.
Sure.
Right? And you want to play in this space, and it is playing pretend, right? Like at the base level, you're playing pretend in a way. Which, yes, I agree, is escapism. You are putting aside your worldly issues or whatever it might be to just have some fun with some friends, or even just we talk about Skyrim, just play a single player video game RPG type thing, or single player tabletop RPGs. There's a bunch of those that have come out. I know specifically recently there's a couple I followed, but they've been having it for years too. I am less keen to agree that it's because of 9/11.
I was using it as a kickoff event,
Yeah.
Because I think that started a lot of tense emotions, tensions amongst people in the U.S. specifically.
Sure. I think those tensions were already there. I think it just heightened them.
That's probably.
Around we talked about this a little bit a couple episodes ago as well. But Middle Eastern people are no longer being considered white in order to other them, to have them be an enemy when we no longer had Russia as an enemy.
Started happening in mid-90s?
Yeah, 80s, 90s.
Yeah, 80s, but it was getting traction. Yeah.
Well, Arab Spring, Persian Gulf War, like we wanted oil, and we wanted to paint them to be the bad guys. And then 9/11, and it's really easy to paint someone as a bad guy when an event of that caliber happens here in on U.S. soil, which is always a big thing because and Americans, we always make a huge deal of it because it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Like the White House burning down, was like
1812, yeah,
right, and that was one of the few things, that
almost 200 years prior.
Yeah. Pearl Harbor, an attack on American soil, technically, right? Like they're huge, they're memorable events because it doesn't really happen.
Sure.
Aside from I guess the American Civil War,
well, that's
which is just
different.
I think it's in a separate category for that specific argument. Right. But in terms of outside threats, right, it doesn't happen.
No.
So
compared to where it does happen in many other parts of the world.
Yeah, and we're usually the ones doing it.
Well,
that's a different topic, different time.
Yeah.
But
we're just funding those who are. Anyway.
Yeah. Hey, America. Regardless, I think we're putting too much on the event. I do, but like I said, I do agree with the premise that there is likely some growth in the RPG world because we are looking to escape our reality more and more. But I wouldn't put that so much as to like individual shitty events. I think it's really where I come at it.
And it's not that. I guess 9/11. I don't want to say 9/11's. I don't want to say the easy one, but like they even. I've heard that it used as a turning point culturally in the U.S. specifically for a number of different things. I mean, heck, that's where they say the generation gap is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easier thing to point to a point in time.
Yeah.
And I think that for this argument, it is a key event in when the shift was happening at its strongest, I think.
Yeah. It makes sense. When I first heard you, when you first started to bring this up, my brain went to psychology and like psychiatry and like the techniques that therapists use to like help people through trauma, and like a lot of times there is like a role play element to that.
Got it.
So like I thought we were going to potentially go in that direction and be like, hey, like this is becoming a more accepted thing because more people thankfully are seeking help for mental health. Present company excluded. So it's becoming normalized. Another way to look at it. But yeah, I thought that was potentially an offshoot we were going to.
I mean, we could. I mean, because what I would also kind of hint at is like I saw a video recently. It was talking about something else completely in the 90s. I think it was talking about like Final Fantasy games in the 90s. Okay. And then like the end tag was them just going, "Yeah, everything's great. The economy's booming. We're at peace. It's peace times. Everybody's getting along culturally. Everything's good right now.
Yep.
It'll just stay like this forever.
Yep.
We're approaching the end of the century, and then obviously that's not how things went.
No,
because it is
not how 9/11. He was like, "Hey, listen, this Clinton guy, he got the economy in a good place." And I want to really fuck him over, so I'm gonna do a big major event that's gonna upset everybody and give us a new enemy permanently.
I do not condone blaming Bush for 9/11.
I mean, did you see how nonchalant he took the news when he was reading that book to those elementary schoolers?
Yeah, it'd be a real shame. Yeah, he definitely should have acted in an immediate panic and tragedy for bunch of kids.
I mean, you saw the look on his face. He's like, "Oh, good, it's about time."
No.
I figured the attack was going to happen like 3 minutes ago, and you're late to tell me the news because I knew it was coming.
God damn it.
But I don't know what this. I don't actually fully believe that. I don't actually fully believe that George Bush did 9/11. I don't think. I mean, maybe this is just my
conspiracy theorist.
No, I was gonna say this is just my distrust in him as a person. Like, I don't think he was coordinated or smart enough to be able to like put that together. So, I mean, like our military is for sure, but I don't, the tagline Bush did 9/11. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, so you don't agree with that. You just do think that probably it was from internal affairs.
I didn't outright say that either. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if the news were to come out in 20 years that, like, hey, we knew this was going to happen because, hey, guess what? We kind of knew it was going to happen. Why do you think Edward Snowden is in exile right now?
I'm just going to throw it out there. I didn't mean this to be 9/11.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Me either. It's just crazy how things just happen that way.
Yeah. No, but as a turning point for public outlook, I guess. I think that as a nation, we've been getting more tense, more culturally opposing to each other, and I'm pretty sure statistically depressed.
Yeah. I'm gonna re-attack this from another way. Because to a certain extent, I can agree that 9/11 was a big factor. I think it's mostly because of the aftermath, right? Like it is, as you said, it is the turning point.
Yeah.
It is the point where we now see a huge shift in public perception, and we also start to see like the Patriot Act was passed, and then our rights are severely limited in that way. And then it continues on, and as our society continues to grow and continues to do shitty things, and
to each other, and to be able to watch them more easily as the internet has expanded, and we can all share and look at information at a much more easy, accessible, quick rate.
Yeah.
I said easy and accessible too many times there.
It's fine.
I was having trouble finding synonyms.
Yeah,
but
synonyms are hard.
Synonyms are hard. I know it's synonyms, people.
No. Cinnamon is also hard.
Cinnamon challenge. That's what did it. Sorry.
Did I ever tell you that I probably did in high school when junior year of high school we had to put on the school talent show.
Did you just eat cinnamon for your talent?
No.
Oh, okay.
So as part of the student council, we had to put on the talent show. That was always the junior class council's job.
Odd, but sure.
Yeah. So we didn't have a lot of students show up that wanted to do their talent thing. So we peppered in little skits here and there.
Okay.
And there was some fun stuff. Like me and my buddy Adrian, we taped ourselves up with pillows, and we had a sumo fight in the middle of it. And we had this one girl, Amy, who did the cinnamon challenge as a part of one of the things, and she got really fucked up. Like she went to the hospital.
What?
Like, yeah, it was bad. So don't do it. That's what this is all about. The chase was fine, but Amy did not handle it well. So really, you got a 50-50 shot. So don't do it. It's just a PSA to not do the cinnamon challenge.
Cinnamon takes lives. Okay.
I told you, cinnamon's hard.
Okay. All right.
What were we talking about? I don't know why I changed it to that. I don't know where that story came from. Cinnamon. Easily accessible. Easily accessible. Easily accessible.
We're seeing atrocities and sharing opinions at a much quicker rate.
Yes, because they're so easily accessible.
Yes.
Yep. And cinnamon. Yes. Sorry, I'm still thinking about it.
I can tell. This was really a traumatic moment.
I didn't even watch it happen. I was in the middle of getting sumoed up. Like, I was in the back,
Did she get ambulanced away?
Yeah. Like, so she tried to do it.
Also, hold on. She's fine now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to her in 10 years.
That's not what I'm asking. I just meant, like...
She was fine immediately after.
Yeah, okay.
She was at school the next day.
That's the part I want to be okay with. Okay.
Yeah, she went on. She graduated, she went to college.
That's as much as we can speak to. We don't have to worry
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Listen, I keep up with everyone from high school. I don't keep up with most people.
I don't care. That's not why I was mentioning it.
Fair. But the internet, it's real easily accessible. All the things. Yeah. And I... You're gonna give me a face,
probably,
based on the words I'm about to use.
Usually,
because you know where this is going. I think there's been also a decrease in our living standard due to the material conditions that we live in. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. But just, why wouldn't we want to escape from a world where, artificial inflation is, making us pay more for stupid shit?
No.
And,
No. Hold on. Before you go too much.
I'm not going anymore.
Before you go too much on social media.
I'm not going there.
I'm going to almost support you a little bit.
I'm not going there. I'm just saying the world we live in is not great.
No,
the reason it's not great is we can debate the reason.
Yeah, sure.
But
I think that, okay, fine. RPGs, games in general, in a way, besides something to have fun, there's even something to have fun. We do leisure activities to relieve stress.
Yeah.
And
to
not
improve
work. Social bonds and to not work. Yeah. RPGs are just, in a way, a little bit more from that because you are literally doing something so fantastical that it's not you. So it adds to a little bit of the escapism level.
Yes, and fantastical in the broad sense, not meaning fantasy.
Not meaning fantasy, but yes.
Yes, because we're including science fiction, we're all of the genres, right?
Yeah. But you turn to something a little bit more fantastical, and it kind of pulls us away from the bullshit that is hard. Life is hard.
Day-to-day living.
Things are going poorly.
Yeah.
Because, according to you, late-stage capitalism. And
I didn't say that. You said it.
And I don't know enough to argue it thoroughly, so I usually try to avoid it, but whatever.
You said it, not me.
But what if it's two-sided? And what if it's two-sided in the sense that, okay, we're all agreeing that everything's miserable right now. We're turning to escapism, but in doing so, we're kind of making things worse.
Instead of accepting our reality, we're running from it, which doesn't allow us to confront said reality. And in not confronting it, there's no way for us to try and change it.
Yeah.
That's what you're going for?
Yep. Yeah, we're leaning into escapism too much. We're not then. I think. Well, I wasn't going to. This is not the direction I was going into. But it's a lot of what social media is.
Yeah.
And it's been well overlooked, but somewhat proven in certain communities that it's very bad for people.
Yeah.
And so what if
screen time in general is bad for people?
Yeah.
In excess. Well, anything in excess is bad, right?
Anything in excess is not good.
We also had an episode about that a couple weeks ago. We're really, this is the summary episode, I guess.
Yeah, we're just pulling it in here.
Let's reference every single one we've done so far.
No, but,
Multiverse. Sorry.
Hopefully there's one we're doing better in.
There is.
But no, because things are shit, we turn to
Things are shit.
Things are shit.
Let's sit on that for a second.
Let's take a moment of silence for the shit we live in.
This world sucks, and things are shit.
But don't escape from it. Actually think about it for a moment. Okay, now that you're depressed,
let's make it worse. Let's crank that depression up to 11.
What if the ability to run away from it, whether it's RPGs or looking at other parts of isolated groups that think similarly to you, make it so that you are not confronting and trying to actually address the problem, whether it's social situations and constructs or literally the fact that things are shit.
So D&D is causing tribalism, which is... So D&D is the to blame for the modern extreme political divide in this country. Is what I'm coming back to now.
Okay. Well, no, but its rise might be an uptick in that.
Might be an uptick in
the fact that
division?
The fact that things like D&D are growing to such large degree, right? It's not. I'm not saying D&D. I'm not saying role-playing games, but the fact that we're turning to it so much.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think the statement and argument I just made. I don't believe it for a second.
No.
Just because
no, it's too
people
too
from
specific.
all
it's
walks of life and all political opinions still play D&D.
Well, yes, but there's definitely a larger percent that are probably left-leaning. Left-leaning and younger, for that matter.
I don't know if that's true. Okay. I think I don't think D&D naturally appeals to people who lean left.
No.
I think it naturally appeals to younger people, and younger people naturally lean left.
Okay.
Right? I think like it's almost like cart before the horse type thing. Right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think there's anything. I don't think any role-playing games naturally appeal to. That's not true. I take that back immediately. I take that back immediately. But the big one, D&D specifically, sure. I don't think it matters.
I don't think it should.
I think you could be at the same table as someone who politically you are completely opposite of, and like you're in this fantastical world where you are, pretending to be other people, and in that sense, really, it's bridge building, and it's connecting people on opposite ends of the spectrum instead of dividing them. So it's kind of the complete opposite of what you tried to argue.
In a way, this is not a perfect argument.
No, I know.
And it's not even meant to be an argument.
And I just fell into it.
We're just talking.
And I don't even know if I believe that what I just said, but I fell into it.
And we're just talking at it here,
Yeah.
I'm not even really trying to argue it. I'm just trying to throw some ideas out there.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
I definitely don't know enough to be defending a position on this, but it's at the same time, I don't know. I also don't know if politically is the right statement, whereas a lot of social things have been brought into sides of politics that I don't think deserve to be mentioned in the political side, but whatever.
I don't know what you mean by that, but we can let it lie.
While people on opposite ends of the political spectrum could be playing D&D together, I could imagine circumstances where they're not playing a character of opposite gender of themselves.
Okay.
Or certain other interactions or conflicts that could arise in situations because of that.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
Okay.
I think
it's a stretch.
I think it's a stretch.
But I can see. If I'm understanding you correctly, I can see what you're saying. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but
I mean, the role playing aspect of it could be easily either side.
Yeah.
But I think some people are so opposed to things that are different than themselves, it's harder for them to roleplay.
Okay.
Could you see Bobby roleplaying?
No. No, I couldn't.
Could you see Kurt?
Maybe? Like, that's a weird one, though.
No, I get that.
I think it's... I think that stems more so from the fact that my family is generally nerdier.
It was actually... I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you did.
You know, like, I mean... You know? Like,
yeah.
and we all have our niche.
Sure.
Right?
Oh, 100%.
But like, we're... As a whole, I'd say, like, any of us are nerdier than Bob. So, you know.
Well, yeah, it's because Bob thinks he's too cool to be nerdy.
That's true. From
start,
all my interactions with him, I would agree with you on that
I'm
one.
not going to start laying into Bob here. It'd be too easy.
Yeah.
But, as an example, that's all I meant. You know, I wonder, and again, going back to the initial premise here, is, you know, what are other factors besides the fact that the trends in media have allowed RPGs, and specifically tabletop RPGs, to become more prevalent? And I think that besides the general media trends, there are some outside factors here.
Yeah. No, yeah, I would agree. And actually, I'm thinking back to what we said a little bit ago, but like, I do think the like, looking at it from a... Actually, no, I'm going to use this point to counteract another point that you said earlier.
Okay, hold on. Before we move on, I just thought of something I just wanted to say.
Do it.
Whoever runs our poll, they should probably put, is your dad against RPGs and also conservative? Think on that for a moment.
That's a good question.
Sorry, go ahead.
Now I just want to think on it. Huh. There's got to be. I would think that it would still lean more in favor of anti RPG than pro. I would think. I have no idea. No idea. We should do a study. Someone else should do a study. Someone else.
Better qualifications and resources should do a study.
Some, like, political science or sociology doctoral student.
Definitely social. This is a social science experience. Sociology student. Sociology doctor for sure.
But anyway,
I guess it's a little somewhere in the mix.
A doctoral student should do this.
It should be cross-checked. There should be one from each side.
Okay, so we're going to get two.
At least two.
We're going to get two.
I don't think we're getting them. We don't have money to pay them.
No.
They want way more money because they're already losing all of their money to their student loans because they realize they picked a field that is not supportive of the economical constructs that we live in. But
hey, got them. But they're just going to listen to this.
Yeah.
And then they'll do the research. And we just want to be able to read it. And we don't actually want to read the whole thing.
No,
we don't want to read your whole
like
thesis.
30 pages long.
At least.
It was like words you can't always pronounce.
Yeah, and we're not going to show up to your defense of your dissertation either, but...
I mean, unless you, like, give us a plug or something.
How about, like, a one-page summary?
Well, yeah, the abstract. That's what abstracts are for.
Yeah. Send us the abstract,
yeah.
Each of you, when you hear this and ultimately do this project.
Yeah.
Just so we can talk about it in the future. There it is. That's our call to action this week.
That's our call to action. It's a very involved call to action.
Go get a PhD.
Go get a PhD in social science. Preferably either social studies or poli-sci. Just however many. I think the number is 300, but I want more.
Yeah,
I want like 10 times that.
Yeah, I was gonna say my bare minimum was gonna be 1,400 Republican dads.
No, well, it's you don't specifically poll Republican dads. You just poll dads, and then see if they're Republican.
So 1,400 Republican dads say D&D is for nerds.
Can't have that by my children. They'll never get anywhere or married.
Yeah. Not near my kids. I want grandkids.
Can't get grandkids if they're off there playing with their friends on tables. Oh.
Yeah, you can. Sir. Things have gotten a little more adventurous. It's not just tables either.
Yeah. It's not just soaking in a sheet over them.
The sin is in the friction. That's what everyone says. Okay, so kind of related.
Are we? Okay,
so,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I learned that there's a difference between soaking and quaking.
What the? Okay, I've never heard of the second one. This is not where I thought we were. Okay.
Yeah, no, but
whatever.
Hey, listen,
sure.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, whatever.
So the traditional soaking is traditional, right? Again, the sin is in the
if you
friction.
say so.
According to the Mormons.
Oh God.
Listen.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
according to the Mormons.
Allegedly, the moment out at BYU.
This episode brought to you by whiskey.
The Mormons, they be soaking out there at BYU. YUB. Mad that your bitch wants to get with me.
God damn it.
That's a famous Dan Smith lyric from the East West rap. Key and Peele shot on. Anyways. So, traditional soaking, right? Sin is in the friction.
No other context is given. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Quaking. I'm pretty sure it's called quaking. I could have the term wrong.
This is done by Quakers?
No, but you would think so. Someone is under the bed.
Okay.
And they move the bed to make it vibrate, but because neither of the participants are causing the motion, it's not a sin.
There might be more wrong with this one.
That one's, only the most progressive Mormons think that quaking, I think it's quaking, is okay.
Who's the third guy? How do you get him to volunteer for this? I don't know why I'm assuming him, but probably
roommates.
Jeez,
Kevin.
Kevin. I'm not gonna be quaking for you. All right, I'm sorry.
Rob.
I don't.
Rob, we lived together for years. The least you can do is shake the bed.
You can do is shake the bed. Just think of the things I've seen. I've done your dishes. I've cooked for you. You better be willing to shake my bed.
Oh my God. Republican Dad.
Republican Dad.
D&D.
You had a thought before I interrupted you with this study idea.
Probably.
God damn it. We've devolved from a topic that had meaning to quaking. In our boots?
Whoa. Yeah, definitely. You probably get better traction on the bottom of the bed if you're wearing boots.
For some reason I imagined the participant wearing boots.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Which one?
All of them.
Okay. We're going off-road. Yeah, we just came back from a hike there, eh? And now they're Canadian? Okay, that makes sense. Those Canadian Mormons there, eh?
God damn it. Okay, well.
I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, so
before I got somebody to do a scientific, non-biased study as to if fathers are disapprove of D&D and are also conservative.
Yes. Yes. I think I made a point. Hopefully, it was in relation or close to this about. Oh, we did. Okay, so we did. We talked about how. So I thought that we talked about how at the table doesn't matter what your political opinion is.
Sure.
Right. But it's because you're in character. Well, in theory, you're in character.
Theory.
Right.
Which there's.
And then you had mentioned there's maybe an aversion to playing characters who are unlike yourself.
Yeah.
Which there is.
I guess RP in general. Which I also want to. I want to take a brief moment. Hopefully, it doesn't do what it did last time.
Listen, I just made a related connection, so you go ahead.
But just to say that, as a D&D player, it's not as much RP as people think.
Yeah, I wish it was more.
Sometimes it can be more, and sometimes that helps a lot. But it's also not. It's not LARPing.
No.
And not that there's anything wrong with LARPing.
No, it's just not that.
It's just not that.
Yeah.
It's that you're generally not dressed up. You're generally not trying to fuck a dragon unless you're a bard. You know,
even then you're not.
It's
the time. Hashtag not all bards. Rise up, my fellow bards. I haven't tried to fuck a single thing in this campaign already.
Technically.
Where's our board? I mean,
oh, you know.
I haven't quaked with anyone in the beginning.
No, but like it's the heart of it is a game. You're playing a made-up story, sure, but you're still playing just a game.
Well, I'd say the heart of it is you're trying to tell a story with friends.
Sure, that's
right?
a good
right. Like you are getting a group of friends together and you are creating this world. Not this world, but you're creating in some instances. You're creating the story together, and it's there's no right or wrong. There's no clear cut things all the time. You're just working together to build the narrative, and not in a traditional sense at all. Like not like you're trying to write a book.
No,
it's just natural cohesion and
you're all
playing off each other.
You're all playing a role based on the character that you've made and contributing to a narrative in different ways.
Yeah, and you're escaping from your role in doing so.
Well, that's because okay. Right.
Right.
I forgot that my argument is that there is a stigma around this. It's just not the one that people think there is.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't be, a Satyr RIL.
I would hope.
I said that right?
Yeah.
IRL?
Yeah, Kevin, no trying to make satyrs IRL.
IRL. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. No, don't start fucking goats.
I'm not Welsh.
Oh. Fuck.
Hey, that's a common stereotype.
That doesn't. We're not here to support stereotypes.
Fuck the Welsh. You heard it from me first. I don't like Welsh people.
God damn it.
That's not true.
This podcast needs any viewers it can get. If you are Welsh, then we are okay with you.
Teach me how to pronounce that name of that really long town. The Landfair Fafanigan one. You know what I'm talking about.
And also, we don't specifically state that you do or do not fuck goats. That's up to you.
Yeah, Rob said it.
But you probably shouldn't.
I don't take the probably out.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Take the probably out.
Yeah, that's yeah. I can get behind that. No, I'm not trying to get behind that.
You're trying to get behind the goat?
Nope.
Kind of related, kind of unrelated.
Yeah, going back now that I've sidetracked you twice.
Do you think? Okay, another factor maybe that
sure.
has expanded with the expansion of D&D. I feel like, and this is, I'm not able to speak from experience in this, but I feel like role play in the bedroom is more accepted because role play as a game or as a genre is becoming more widespread. I don't know how true that is, and I can't speak to this from an experience standpoint.
I don't necessarily know that that's true.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, it's completely person to person.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that those who are interested in it are more willing to vocalize it because it is getting slightly more normalized.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that it's increasing the desire, but that those who desire it feel as though they're more able to voice that.
I mean, across the board, right?
Sure, if we operate on the board in a two-dimensional sense now.
All right, across the globe.
Fine.
All right, motherfucker. People are becoming more accepting of kinks, right? In a sense, at least on the internet.
Well, that's the other thing.
At least on the internet. At least on the internet.
You know what? That's the other thing. Is although this conversation has been mainly focused on RPGs, specifically tabletop RPGs.
Yeah, it's all the internet's fault.
It's honestly probably the internet's fault. Yeah. Yep. You just said it as a joke, but you dead ass.
Yeah. No, I believe it.
If there's a problem with escapism, it's not really because kids are rolling dice on pretending to fight dragons or fuck dragons, depending on if you're a bard. It's
not all bards.
It's more so that people in general are having less genuine interaction.
Yeah, and we talked about social media. Like we briefly touched on it earlier, and how in excess of it, as we said, in excess of anything, but in excess of social media, it changes your brain. So here's something recent, relevant. There are terms that are generally just referred to or generally used online that are now being used in everyday. So there are people. It happens all the time, but there's ones that are happening now that maybe I'm the old man being like, that's weird. But people are referring to each other as chat.
What?
In real life.
I don't understand.
So
shit, how I've dated myself.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
So there are I think alphas, Gen alphas.
What does that mean?
Gen alpha is after Gen Z.
We're not already there, are we?
Yes, we are.
That's debatable.
Yes, we're already there.
Is COVID the new marker? Is alpha?
No,
they're too young.
I don't know.
Too young.
I don't know, but Gen alphas are a thing. They do exist.
It's fucking when?
Gen Z's getting old now.
I know.
Because Gen alphas exist. But
okay, I don't like it, and I disagree without any knowledge on this.
Yep. You can be the old man shouting. It's fine.
Shout at the wind.
But they will. It's a social media thing. Like there's TikToks or whatever on them. Like they will refer to each other as chat in a group. So, which is a Twitch thing. When Twitch streamers or YouTube streamers,
have you witnessed this in person?
There was an article that was released about it.
By who?
I don't remember. I'd have to find it. But
incredible source.
But right. Streamers, referring to the people who watch them as chat, and now those people who watch are in real life referring to the friends and the people around them as chat.
Good God, I hate that. So
yeah, the influence of the internet is. Listen, again, I will be the old man. It's gone too far. Chat used to mean something back in my day, and now we're just calling everyone chat.
Chat used to mean something you talk to about somebody else to me. Maybe I'm even less internet savvy than you.
Well, it's because I go on Twitch all the time.
Yeah, I do.
So it's like, that is our disconnect.
Sure.
But, that's a normal thing. Streamer referred to the chat as chat.
Chat. Yeah, well, yeah, because what else are you going to call them?
Right.
Hey, suckers.
Yeah.
Paying my bills.
Yeah. It's a better way to do it. But yeah, like it's happening. It's happening. I'll have to find an article for you.
Gross.
Yep. The internet is forever influential, and it is disturbing how we. Well, hold on. Flip the script on my brain just did to me.
Let's do it.
That's the opposite of escapism. If you're bringing the escape into the real world,
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that you are making the real world less genuine. If you are talking about false constructs, I don't like that as a statement. Because
so if you're masking, you're not in the real world.
We're not trying to get into what is or is not false constructs. But we now live in a society.
Do we? I don't believe you.
Where we are more concerned. We've always been concerned about our perception, how we are perceived by others. But we are now in a world where how we are perceived by others is immortalized in the internet.
Yeah,
and
until something replaces the internet.
Eventually.
I think we can see that.
You think so?
I
mean, what would it be, though? It would just be, what, VR?
Have you seen the Apple Pro shit?
The what?
The Apple Pro, Apple Vision Pro shit?
Besides
Apple Quest?
Looking at the stupid memes that show what they look like, I haven't looked into it at all.
I watched a video that was watching a review of it. And, yeah, okay, it's a little bit.
Sure.
And, like, they're still too clunky. And, like, really...
They look real clunky, so that makes sense.
What that video talked about is that Google Glass was really just ahead of its time. Because if Google Glass came out now, it would only be slightly ahead of its time. I think you'd have more people who would sign up for Google Glass now than we did, like 10 years ago or something like that.
But I think that just speaks to how willing people are to buy into escapism.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't.
Oh, for sure.
I like
playing
video games.
Yeah.
And I like getting binge watched into bullshit shows.
Yeah.
But it's just...
It's almost like escapism has become the only outlet.
I don't know what another outlet is, right? Like it's... What is...
If you're going hiking and you're going out into nature...
Okay.
You're escaping from society.
But not the real world.
Yeah. Right? I don't know. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
No.
Right?
That's a good...
But is that still... You're still escaping...
No, but it's... Again, I think that it's a weird... it's a weird term. Because we're not trying to say that anything you do is escape.
Right.
There's
maybe we just need to not... Maybe the perception of escapism being negative piece of shit.
I mean,
I don't know.
That's part of the argument here is that, like, okay, we started talking about this in D&D, and to that extent, yes, but to a larger extent, if it's preventing us from facing problems we need to face, then I don't know.
So it's a scale from D&D to social media.
It's like
what level and how much are you affected by escapism, and how is it affecting your everyday life?
It's like be willing to accept other
where's
people's...
video games
It's like being willing to accept other people's problems while don't still address your shit. Still recognize that you can't just run away from everything.
Yes.
You need a medium ground of, okay, everybody needs to get away. How they get away is in various ways and is ever-changing and is being adopted by more and more people. But at the same time, if somebody's completely getting away from everything that's real around them, maybe sit them down. Have a chat with them. Be like, hey, maybe you do need to face the fact that loved ones are dying or something. Or, that you need to have a job and actually make money. Or, I don't know, whatever they're escaping from. The high stressors that people are using to justify not actually interacting with the world around
At the second half of that phrase, I started to feel personally attacked.
them.
We're not going to get into that right now.
Wait, what? I don't know why.
Well, I haven't done my traditional. You've trained me too well now, where I don't turn off the world for a week or two at a time anymore.
I'm glad, because at first, when I stopped you from doing that, it built up so that way every other year take a month off from everybody. So
yeah. Well, I don't do that anymore. I wouldn't mind.
That was not meant to be a personal attack.
No,
I wasn't even thinking about you this time when I was when I was listing things.
This time I wasn't thinking about you at all. Every other time, fuck you. But no. But to that point, though, I think there's a difference between escapism and
avoidance.
I don't know if that's the right, but I think that has too much of a negative connotation for me to agree with you.
I don't know if it doesn't need to be negative.
I think it's.
And I'm not saying
because taking a break from social media, right? Like turning off the internet, right? Yeah. Doing that, getting away in that sense is generally seen as a good thing.
Yeah,
but isn't that
because you're getting away from getting away?
But it in itself is just another form of escapism.
No, I don't agree. I don't agree, because you're getting away from something that's fake. So what? You're going back to the real world, and that should be viewed as escapism? No.
If the intent of getting back to the real world is still avoidance,
but it's in the way that we're talking about it. I just disagree, because I nothing about social media is real.
That's a loaded statement that I don't agree with. But
I don't like making hard statements. I don't like saying never.
Yeah, I wouldn't make that one.
So nothing is tough. Especially because how people perceive things can be a large part of how real something is.
Yes.
But if everybody could recognize that most of the time social media is not how people actually are, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I don't want to have this be a complete knock on social media as well, just because.
Sure.
Well, simply because
it was better back in my day.
It allows us to exist.
2009, 2010.
It allows us to exist in this space right now. It allows.
That's true.
All of y'all who listen in and have made it this far somehow through all of our ramblings, incredibly.
Yeah, sorry, this has gotten. this has been a mess.
It allows us to share these thoughts with you and have you listen and respond in various ways, and we do greatly appreciate you for that.
And the 5 of you who are listening, please talk about this.
Yeah,
in the comments.
Us. and on social media. But also with us in person, not on social media.
Yeah, if you could manage to stalk us and hunt us down in person, let's talk about it. And then
we can't say that. That's another slogan.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it?
Let's talk about that. That's from Good Mythical Morning.
We
might get sued.
That just seems like a generic statement. Good luck suing us, bitches.
Well, let's not do that. I like them. I watch them every morning. Let's not.
Yeah, but I said it, and I haven't watched them, so.
Okay. Hey, thanks.
Hey, thanks. Also, maybe don't hunt us down and talk about it. We might talk about it, but also file a restraining order.
Yeah, maybe. I think we have a whole nother episode on escapism.
Probably. Yeah. But, yeah.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there.
Thank you.
Everybody go at their own pace here.
Rob loves you.
That's Kevin's job.